Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Sarah and this is Yvonne, and today we are bringing you our top 3 board games that were new to us in the second quarter of 2025. And we actually played tons of new and awesome games in the second quarter. It was a little hard to decide which games were going to make our top 3, but we have 3 great games for you, and we are going to go ahead and jump in and show you what our top 3 games were for the second quarter. First up, we have Ingenious. Ingenious is published by Cosmos and designed by Rainier Nizia. And this game is for 1 to 4 players, ages 8+, and takes about 30 to 45 minutes to play. This game is a little bit like dominoes. Each player is going to be playing domino-like tiles where it has 2 sides to it, and you might have 2 of the same symbols or 2 different symbols. And you're going to be playing those tiles onto a game board. You're going to be scoring points for the tiles that you place when you make longer lines of the same symbols. One of the unique things about this game is that the winner isn't necessarily the person that scores the most. The winner is going to be the person who gets their lowest scoring color the furthest along on the score track. So at the end of the game, everyone looks at their score tracks, finds their lowest one, and that's going to be their score. This game quickly became one of our kiddos' favorites. It's not a very complicated game. It's pretty easy to learn, and it is fairly quick, so it's not a game that you're stuck playing for hours and hours. You can play the game in 30 to 45 minutes. And as I said, it's pretty easy to learn. It doesn't take a lot of brain power, and it's a great game to play late in the evening or for us after school with the kiddo, and it just keeps her engaged and playing games with us. And since this is a tile drafting game, every game is going to be different and unique. Your board is going to look different every single game, and it keeps it fun.
I would say that this is actually a great entry level game for people who like strategy games, but they're not really wanting to spend multiple hours with a strategic game. This is a great replacement for that because it has kind of like you're given 6 tiles and you can kind of try to plan out your moves and also cut off people from getting bigger points. If you like patterns, it has 6 different patterns and colors, and it's really unique in that sense.
And while this game is great at any player count, I feel like this game does a little better and is a little more challenging and cutthroat when you add more players. If you have 3 or 4 players, it just doesn't give you as much room to move with your tiles because everyone else is trying to play in those same spots. So I feel like it's definitely more challenging at the 3 or 4 player count, but it is still fun at 1 or 2 players.
Our number 2 game that we're going to talk about today is Ostia. Ostia is for 1 to 4 players. It is published by Ochabakoya and designed by Tochu Chow. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Ostia is a strategy type game where you control your fleet of ships in a Mancala sort of way to explore, trade, and develop your port. Has a really unique way of how you select your action that you're going to be choosing, and that's kind of where the Mancala technique or turn or action comes into play. You're picking up your group of ships and you're dropping them to each little port, and the last one that your ship lands, that's the action you're going to take. So that's where the strategy comes in, where you're trying to pre-plan what you're going to be doing for the next moves, because the last thing you want to do is have a bunch of ports with eventually you'll have a bunch of ports with single ships and realize you need to get 3 actions down, yet you're basically wasting or not planning ahead very poorly, which happened when we were playing that game. But it was definitely a great game that we enjoyed. It is a bit on the longer side. It was about 100 to 140 minutes based off player count, based off it was your first time playing. Great table presentation, very large. Love all the different meeples that they had for this game. Very clear. Directions were very clear. We were not confused on how to play it. Very big box. It did come recently with an expansion. It's the Pirates expansion. We do have it. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get it to the table yet, but I'm excited to see what that brings to the table. So here we have the board where you're moving down along the line and you get different actions and then different resources, and then The other one, the smaller board, is what you're using in the Mancala sort of way to choose which action you're wanting to do with your little ships. We've only played this at 2 players, but I could just imagine how a little more hectic it would be at 3 or 4 players. Longer and then just more cutthroat, I feel like, because people are blocking each other off. There's achievements that you can get. There's resources that you can get, but if you're the first one there, you're the only one that gets them. So there's definitely some just planning.
Yeah, this game definitely takes a lot of planning for your future moves and strategies, because you don't want to just look 1 or 2 turns ahead, because otherwise you're not going to be able to make the most of your turns. If you're looking further ahead, you can make sure that your ships are in the right places and you have the right amount of ships in a certain port to get you to where you're trying to go. So I think the Mancala type style gameplay in this game is definitely unique, and it definitely makes it a lot more challenging and strategic compared to some other games where you might be using like a rondel or some other turn-based structure. I think using the Mancala structure where you have to place like your ships into each port and you get whatever you land in, I think that makes it just a little bit more difficult. This game is definitely on the longer side. The box says 100 to 120 minutes, and that's definitely pretty accurate, I would say. This is definitely not a game you could just take out and play in under an hour. You definitely need a bigger chunk of time to play this game, but it is worth it. It's definitely unique and a lot of fun.
And I mean, there might be people that say, oh yeah, we can play in an hour, but the setup in itself, I feel like, is not just a couple minute setup. You're putting all the tokens where they need to go, getting on the little buildings where they need to go, and so that also is quite a bit of time. But not saying this is not a bad game. It's a great game. Definitely great.
Yep. As she said, definitely with the setup and everything, you go from Ingenious, where there's basically no setup, to a game like this, where it's a bigger box, more setup, more complex. There's a lot more to this game than some other games, especially with the uniqueness of the turn structures.
Yeah. I would say if you love strategy games, if you love Mancala style type games, this is definitely worth looking into.
And now we have our number 1 game of the second quarter, and that is The Anarchy. This game is made by Garfield Games and designed by Bobby Hill. This game is for 1 to 4 players, ages 13 plus, and takes about 90 minutes to play. Now, that 90 minutes is no joke. That's if you know how to play. Our first time playing this game, I think it took us about 3 hours. But this game is so good. If you are a fan of Hadrian's Wall, this is basically a sister game to that, except bigger. There is so much more to this game. There is so much more strategy and different things within this game. Now, you still have the 2 pages that you're going to be playing with, just like in Hadrian's Wall. On the first page, you're going to have your defenses, your resource production, and your attribute tracks. On the second page, again, you're going to have your city and your citizen tracks, and there's also different events within the city that you're trying to accomplish or do things in. One thing that I really love about this game is that they included a solo campaign, and that solo campaign comes with 20 different scenarios that you're going to be playing through. The original Hadrian's Wall did not have a solo campaign. There was someone that did post a campaign separate from the game. It wasn't included with the game or anything, but that was one thing that I really loved, was that solo campaign from Hadrian's Wall. So I really appreciated that they included a solo campaign with this game. Now, one of the biggest differences, I would say, with this game is our defenses. Now, in the last Hadrian's Wall game, you had to build your defenses, your wall guard, your Sippy or Kippy, however you say that, C-I-P-P-I. But you were building along these tracks to build your defenses. And in the Anarchy, you are actually building your physical structure of defenses. You have walls, you have a moat, and as you go through the game, you are going to be building these different things on your little board that you have. So you're going to be placing physical walls and turrets and a moat and things like that, which makes it really cool. It just makes it more immersive and just really fun to see your structure get built with all of those defenses around your city.
Yeah, I really enjoy this game a lot more than Hadrian's Wall. I feel like after even just 5 plays of Hadrian's Wall, I'm like, okay, even though I don't score super high, I'm just like, what next? Not really pulled to like keep playing multiple games one after the other, but the Anarchy definitely, it's very engaging. Every game is different. Obviously, Hadrian's Wall is too. But this is a bit more different. This gives me a lot more what I felt like Hadrian's Wall was lacking. This provided. Very happy with this game.
Once you play Hadrian's Wall a few times, it's pretty much the same thing. You can do different things within your city or try different strategies, but essentially it's pretty much the same game. Whereas having that solo campaign, each game I felt like was different because it was forcing you to do different things within your city, do different citizen tracks, that kind of thing. So it gave you goals that made every game different. So you're trying to complete different goals and attain a certain score within the game. And I think the solo campaign is really what motivated me the most and made me want to play that game. And since the Anarchy has that solo campaign, I haven't gotten to play it yet, but I am so excited to try that solo campaign because I know that every game is different. I'm going to be doing different things. It's going to be forcing me to try different strategies to beat those different scenarios. And then the game does include several different modes that are more or less challenging. So if you feel like one of the modes is a little bit too hard with the defenses and combat things that you're doing, you can try the easier mode, and it's a little more player friendly. While this game made our #1 spot for this video, I just want to say it honestly could have been either this game or Ostia that took the #1 spot for us, just because she likes Ostia a little more, and I love the Anarchy and Hadrian's Wall. But they are both amazing games and both deserve to be checked out by you guys because both of them are just very unique, especially Ostia with the Mancala type turn structure. I would highly recommend both of these games for you guys to check out. Let us know in the comments if you guys have ever played any of these games and which ones you guys like. And if you guys know of any other Mancala style games like Ostia, let us know because that's definitely unique and we would definitely love to check out another Mancala style game. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Adventure Squad down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, get your game on.